So even when I started using, it still didn't apply to me, even the word addiction or being an addict. It was that I got to just use, and it didn't affect me the way other people were. And so initially it was, well, you know, I don't use like they do, or I don't look like I'm using. And then to finally acknowledge it, that's at the end, to acknowledge it. But even in the meantime, I thought, well, like I had said, if I take Mondays off and I can do Mondays not using, even if it's all the rest of the days, I'm not an addict. Like an addict would have to use Mondays. And I remember that didn't work. And then I thought, well, I'll just take a weekend off, and just taking that weekend off, it'll just prove that I'm not an addict, and I'll just go back to the scene I was in and start using with everyone. But that weekend off, no problem. No, I couldn't do it. And then it just kept evolving, and finally it was like, but I'm not using needles, because that's what a drug addict does, is they finally use needles, and I'm not using them. So I don't really count. So it's that mental crazy making to think, well, I don't apply. I'm not an addict, so it doesn't count. I finally realized, I think because once I went into that crazy psychosis place, that's when I thought, I think I'll live here forever if I keep using. And I thought I can never go back. And so that's when I thought, no, I'm done. That's when it was suicide. Yeah. Or finally then asking for help. And I thought, isn't it funny how low, well, for me, I was going to say a person, but for me, I had to go that low to finally ask for help, to feel less than or admit I needed help. And maybe that's back to how I grew up, is I had to take charge. So if you ask for help, you're a failure. So I called my dad, and I think he was the one who told me it was one of the best days of his life that I called him for help. It makes me a bit teary. I'm so thankful that he took it as an amazing day. There was no judgment. He felt, and in his experience, he knew that I was using. He didn't know about crystal meth back in those years, but he was there in an instant to take me away. Because with living in that psychosis, I would spend hours taping every single hole in the wall so no one could spy on me, no one could find out or have people attack me. So that was deadly in the heart, in the soul, to experience and be so alone of that experience, to go through that. That's hell on earth. That's where hell lives. So I had an understanding then after what that feels like. So when my dad picked me up, we had no idea where to go. I just told him I can't be in BC. I didn't trust myself here. So we drove. He had a huge old school van, and he put a mattress in the back, took the seats out, put a mattress in the back so that I could do my own detox. So we ended up in Alberta. There was nothing I could, I'm not sure what word to use, to go in that moment. So we went all the way to Saskatchewan, and again there, and that was
like a
treatment center. Yes, I didn't use my words. Yeah. So once I got to Saskatchewan, they again had no room, and I remember on the table there, or the desk, I just started weeping because I said, I'm just asking for help. What does it take? And it's one of those things too, you know, you want it that day because the next day it could change.